Hey, welcome to Loose Change. Still not your father's TV show. Exactly whose, we're still working on that. But, hey, I'm Jim Evans. Thanks for joining us, and you will be so glad you did. Wait till you see who's coming up to sit and talk with us. But first off, we always like to start off with what's going on. What's been going on, Greg? I don't know. How about those NBA champ Cleveland Cavaliers? So good, we got to say it twice. The NBA champ Cleveland Cavaliers. Wow. And it was a tremendous series, of course, you know. Unbelievable Game 7, the excitement, the celebration afterwards. And I give credit to the people in the city of Cleveland afterwards celebrating. They kept it in check for the most part. There was only a report of a couple of minor incidents where people broke up some furniture. And I was thinking, you know, the last time in Cleveland a couch got destroyed was when he played quarterback for the Browns. But the game itself, Game 7, was so dramatic and so emotional. And afterwards, you know, I'm watching this, wow, these unbelievable athletes brought to tears, grown men crying. And then later I thought, well, maybe not such a big deal, Greg. You and I do that when we look at our paychecks, right? So after the Game 7, the team left Oakland and then went to Las Vegas to party. When did Johnny Manziel start playing for the Cavs? I don't know, I missed that one. And there was a rap star you may have heard named Drake. He lost $60,000 when he bet against the Cavs with another rapper named French Montana. Can you believe that? There's a guy named French Montana. But I don't care how much money you make, you lose $60,000, that's got to hit you. I remember how bad I felt when I dropped $6 on baskets at Pat Catan's. So they had this unbelievable parade, of course, in Cleveland, over 1 million people to celebrate the Cavs, and the excitement will carry over with the Republican National Convention. And Donald Trump says he's pretty much ready to go, has to take care of a couple of logistical things, and he also has to get a distemper shot for that thing on his head. How about this? Cute story. A 97-year-old woman in Michigan just got her high school diploma. She dropped out of school, went back, and just got her diploma. And after the graduation ceremony, someone asked her, "What do you think?" And she said, "Go Seniors!" Hey, Andy Hake joins us next right here on Loose Change. You want to hang around for that. Really, you should.
Get more than movies with Armstrong On Demand. Tune to Channel 1 or find On Demand with your remote. Search for shows alphabetically by series name or by network. Children's programming can be found in the Kids folder. Find your show and start watching. These shows are free with your Armstrong subscription. Watch as much as you want, when you want, at no extra cost. Your shows on your time. Armstrong, one wire, infinite possibilities.
Welcome back to Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans, and I have the great pleasure to be joined by the head football coach at Berlin West Reserve. He is Andy Hake. Coach, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Nice to be here today. Thanks.
As we like to do, for those sitting in the chair there, if you would, for those who don't know, give us a little background information. Where you're from, where you went to high school, and your education, and how you got into coaching and your coaching path.
Right. Well, I'm a 1998 graduate of Mineral Ridge High School.
The Rams.
Yeah, I'm a Rambler, and that's where I started coaching. Actually, right out of high school, I went to school at YSU, and went for a couple different majors, and didn't know exactly. Most kids, you don't know exactly what you want to do when you're young.
I know.
And I had an opportunity at 19 years old to start coaching some football, junior high football, and just really loved the game and loved working with young kids, and I quickly moved up with a couple groups there and started coaching the varsity team at a young age, probably too young at that time. I'm being honest, I was 22 years old and I was calling plays at the varsity level, and part of and it sounds like, but probably too young at the time. Probably needed a few more years, just watching an older veteran coach, but. Coached my college years at Mineral Ridge High School, and when I was done, I got my degree at YSU in Comprehensive Social Studies, 7 through 12.
Yep.
And when we were scrimmaging Rayen one time, when I was at Mineral Ridge, one of my last years there, Brian Shaner was the head coach at Rayen.
Right.
And after a scrimmage, and we started talking, and he said, "Hey, when you get your degree," I said, "At the end of the year." He said, "When you get it, talk to me." So I talked, and I ended up going to Rayen, got a teaching job, and coached at the Rayen School for the last 2 years of its existence. And it was a great.
Sad that it's gone.
What a great experience.
Yeah.
And learned so much. Then we went to East. Our staff went to East. Brian got that job,
Right.
and very, very proud of the job that we did in the city at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, and I thought Brian was a great coach. Really worked well with the kids.
Sure.
Dennis Paris, Gary Thornton, Horvat. There was guys there that they were just great to the kids. Bill Burton, he's a police officer in the city. He did just great to the kids, treated the kids right, and we had some great teams.
Yes, you did.
You know, my teaching job came to an end. The school started merging
Right.
in the city, and I got a job at the TCTC. I wanted to stay in the city. I really did. I like teaching there because I taught at Rayen, but things were getting shaky there with the cutting of teachers. I went to the TCTC. Taught there for a few years. It was a Trumbull Career and Technical Center. I taught government class. And then I was still coaching at East. And then I saw the job opened up at Western Reserve. You came across the computer some of the job openings, and I was happy at East at that time. I was having a great time, but I saw that they played McDonald, and I'm from Mineral Ridge, and this is not kidding. I'm from Mineral Ridge, so I said, "Are they still in league with McDonald?" So I saw they were. So I called Mr. Zachok, who was the principal at the time. He's now our superintendent, tremendous guy. I said, "Hey, could I come in for an interview?" He said, "Hey, we took all applicants, but you know what? You can come and be the last. You're gonna be the last guy, and people are gonna be annoyed because you know what I mean." So I went in there and got an interview, and there's a committee of people there at Western Reserve. A lot of people there are very interested because at that time they made the move. They wanted to have a great football program.
They were on the track.
They were on the
there.
verge, and Mike Apache
Right.
was the coach there, and they got in that new league.
Yep.
The lower tier of the ITCL, playing people with their enrollment, and it made sense to play people with your same size enrollment, and they put themselves in a better position. Mike had a few years of success, and when he left, I think the people there said, "Hey, we want to maintain this, we value this, and we want to kind of take it to another level." And that's how they approached me when they talked to me. Hey, we were very serious about this. So got the teaching job, got a coaching job there, and became the head coach there and got to teaching 7th and 8th grade social studies. Love teaching the 7th and 8th grade. I really do. Great kids there.
Yep.
And that's how I got my start. Been there the last 7 years, and we've had great success.
Yes, you have.
But it's been because of the kids and the coaches and the community. It's not one guy. It's never one guy. I know coaches get way too much credit and take way too much blame.
That's right.
But it comes down to a movement. And a lot of people are getting behind the movement. If you don't have support then it's not going to happen.
Right.
But I've had tremendous support there. I'm the first one to tell you that. I am.
You mentioned Brian Shaner, of course, a great coach. Obviously, you took things from him. Anybody else along the way that really had an influence on your as a coach?
Well, the first guy to me is my father.
There you go.
My father, I have the utmost respect for my parents, both my parents. How about that? My mother and father taught 35 years. Both of them, special education. My father, Brookfield, my mother, Gerard. Some of the most giving people, the two most giving people I've ever met in my life. And I mean that when I say that. And, my father was a coach, baseball, football, and just being around him, being around the games, watching how he interacted with people. And I think that's what I learned the most, how to deal with people and interact with people. And my father's he's a very kind man. My mother's very kind. And just, I was taught by teachers. I was raised as, America's for everybody. Yeah, America's for everybody. And, I just think that my father was one of the best coaches I've ever been around. Lou Lowry was my head football coach at high school. And he was a great coach, great guy. Ron Toth. I was around good people that I thought was coached by Lou LaSalle, Superintendent Matthews. And then, I just think... Went to a lot of camps, and and wanted to learn. Heard a lot of different guys talking, speaking. Worked with Tom McDaniels, and being around people, being around guys, there's some of the best coaches are in this area.
You're absolutely
And they're
right.
and they're at smaller schools.
Right.
When I say that, I've seen guys at big schools, and they're great coaches too. I don't want to take anything away from those guys. But guys like Andy Hake at South Range or Bob Spade at Columbiana, they do more with what they have. They do more with what they have than a lot of guys at bigger schools that I think take hey, Phil Anarella, one of the best coaches in the area. And I look up to him a lot too. But when I say smaller coaches, Dan Williams
Yeah.
at McDonald's, you see guys at small schools, and the guys that maintain success, they're doing more with less most of the time.
Well, you're doing that now. So.
Well, I think it's a combination of having the movement, like a real movement behind you, and the town being behind you,
Yes.
and saying, Coach, we're going to be behind you 100%. We want you to be harder on our kids. We don't want you to be a lunatic. We want you to be hard. And you know, I think that's a big thing. It really is such a big thing with it.
Well, I mean, you're still a young guy, and I almost every coach I talk with, really no matter the age, and they'll tell me, no matter how much I've done, I'm still learning. I'm still taking from different areas and different ways to approach the game.
Sure.
That applies to you?
I think that applies to it.
Yeah.
The first moment, I think you have all the answers, you're doomed.
Yeah.
You're doomed. I have great assistant coaches I learned from.
Yeah, you have to.
That I learned from my assistant coaches.
Sure.
Teachers in school, I screw up every day. I screw up all the time. I have a great principal, Doug McGlynn. He's become our superintendent. He was
Yeah.
at Fitch for a long time
Yes.
as a principal. He became our superintendent. Mr. Z. I've had great supporters. Mr. Zadchuk's our superintendent. It's like great leaders, and I think that's a big thing with if you're around great leaders and you're around good people, and you can learn from all kind of people. Coach Tressel came and spoke at our school at the end of the year, talking
heard
to
that
the
about that,
National
yeah.
Honor Society, and he talked earlier in the year with our kids. Just listening to him talk for 15, 20 minutes. I mean, you know, you learn from people all the time, and like some of the coaches I said, you know, Anarella, Yeagley, you know, Spate, you know, there's just so many good coaches, same as Salamos, Cusick. There's so many good coaches in the area, Williams, and there's small school guys. Big school guys, absolutely. I mean, Brungard's an assistant now at Springfield. He's one of the best coaches in the area. So you learn from guys. I'm sure Sean Guerrero is learning an awful lot from Brungard.
Sure.
I'm sure he's learning a lot. So, yeah, absolutely, you learn a lot from a lot of different people.
What's your philosophy of coaching?
Well, you know what? I think it starts with, you know, leadership and what your expectations are. And I think people will give you what you expect out of them. And I think that's in everything in life. People will give you what you expect out of them. So I think my philosophy is, you know, in football we say, you know, reserve how do we win? And the kids all say out hit them. So I guess, you know, football being a very physical sport, you know, controlled violence, you got to be physical. So you know, I think you know, what's our philosophy? We're going to be very physical, you know, and we're going to try to out hit people. We're going to play together as a team. And I think the whole team philosophy is something that's really lost, and we don't see it enough. We see the Cavs the other day. You see how special it was when they won, and you see LeBron, and we all watched it. And I bet you all the veterans of the NBA saw that and said, you know, if I already made my money, I'd want to be a part of a team.
Absolutely.
Like that,
Yeah.
like that. I want to be a part of a team because that's what's attractive. And I think that our greatest strength, I think when I say our greatest strength, the teams that I've been a part of, we've tried to make great teams. We've tried to make great teams. So, you know, I think my philosophy on coaching really is try to make great teams. Try to put the team first. Put the team first. And, you know, preach team and hitting and being physical. And guys have always responded to that. For me. It's not the same for everybody.
And you know, and every guy I've talked to, you know, with the same mindset about that, and I've seen this just from following, you know, all the local teams. Teams that play that way, as yours do, they play smart too. You have smart kids. They good football, high football IQs, I guess we could say.
Right. Their awareness is,
Yeah.
football awareness and savvy is up there. And I think that's a lot to do with, you know, individual time spent with kids and understanding the, you know, really telling the kids the plan and the kids understanding the plan.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like a classroom teaching, you know what I mean? And then the test, the test for a football player playing high school football is Friday night, and it's 2 hours, and the whole team sees it. The whole team sees it. You take a math test, you see it.
Right.
English test, you see it. Social studies test, you see it. The teacher sees it. The whole town sees it.
The whole town sees this.
And you know
Friday
what?
night.
Very critical. And to some degree, we embellished it. We embellished that. People being very critical of you. I think a lot of good coaches, they embellish that. But your work's out there for 2 hours and you could be great all week. But if you don't perform in that 2-hour period on Friday, that's how you're being judged. So we've been very fortunate where our kids have been game. We talk about that a lot, being game and being up for the game. And when the lights come on and the band starts playing, you know, grandma's in the stands, you got to play ball. And our kids have responded to that. So I couldn't be happier with the place I'm at right now because of, you know, talking about that, the movement behind you.
Right, exactly. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with Andy Hake right after we do this here on Loose Change. Hang around. He'll be back.
I've been an Armstrong customer for 45 years.
In my 20 years with Armstrong, I've been very happy with my service.
On my PVR, I have about 6 series set up that automatically record.
We do a lot of recording of our kids' shows because we're not home during the day.
Between video on demand and my PVR, I don't miss any shows, ever.
I've always been very happy with the customer service.
I would be really bummed out to not have my PVR box. Honestly, I would. It just makes life a lot easier for me.
Back here on Loose Change, I'm Jim Evans along with Berlin Western Reserve head football coach Andy Hake, and he's got the blue on, the Blue Devils. They'll be getting to it here soon. And those who have seen you at work, whether it be a practice or game night, I mean, I see how, and I've had the great opportunity to do some games, how passionate you are about your team, your young men, and about the game that night. You talked a little bit about game night there before the break, but talk about your passion for what you're doing.
I guess it's you're doing anything in this world, you want to do it and give it your all. And we spend so much time together doing this football thing. It's, you know, people call it a game. Like chess is a game, checkers is a game. That you spend so much time doing that in the end it is a game. But the things that you're learning, you know, the character building and all that.
Right.
You know, I mean, the time you're spending with these people that, you know, you take it very serious. And thank God our kids take it serious. And thank God our coaches that do such a good job. Brett Powell, Jason Cochran, Eddie Anthony, Andrew Whitmer, you know, Damon Bente. I have great guys. My father helps out. I have just great guys that do such a good job getting the kids ready. And Joe Stevens, they do such a great job getting the kids ready to play and making it mean a lot to them. We have a spiritual guy, a guy that's been in the town for 30 years, being the spiritual guy to the team. His name is Reverend Lib. What an inspirational guy this guy is. He's a retired pastor down the road. But the town, it means a lot to the town, the football team. It's a small town. At Berlin Center and Ellsworth make up Western Reserve. And it's separated a little bit from the rest of the county out there. And the value, it's a value-driven place. It's a value-driven place. And a lot of places aren't value-driven anymore. It's so value-driven that, you know, they want their kids to have success, but they want their kids to listen, and they want them to work hard. And a lot of times we all say that, hey, our kids work hard, and they listen, but it doesn't go hand in hand a lot of times, and the success doesn't come with it. So you know what? It's a value-driven place, and they allow us to coach hard. And because of that, they expect us to coach hard. And we've had the success. Yeah. So you know what? There's a demand there, and there's tradition. And I'm just grateful to have such great coaches and the parents of the kids that allow us to be the way we are, which is demanding. Good to them first, then demanding. And then things have worked out for us. You know what I mean? Kids have rose to the occasion in many, many big games. And I have been so surprised. And I should quit being, but I'm amazed how our kids play in big moments. And it's because I think this value-driven stuff that's beaten in them at home and in school and on the field of athletics.
You know, and you kind of touched on it, and I know as every coach in your position will say and has said, that obviously you're out there competing, you're playing to win, but there's so much more at the high school level than that. I mean, you mentioned the lessons, life lessons, and football is such a galvanizing game for young people, young men, and even people involved in the program, whoever it might be. And it is more than just the game itself, isn't it?
We talk a lot about this with the kids. It's one of our last slithers of society that's left. It's separate. It's a real separative type sport because you know
Yeah.
it really is
Yeah.
because the rest of the sport, you know, first of all, and I'm an equalist. I'm an equal person. But football is just played by men. And today in a PC world, you know what? Hey, just men play it that are tough, that believe in certain values, hard work, commitment, dedication, determination. And sometimes, you know, I think all young boys want to be a part of that. I do. I really feel like now whether they can play football or not, I'm not saying. I just think all young boys want to be a part of something like that. You know, you give yourself up for a certain belonging, and you just don't see that all the time in society today. And the people that are like that, in the schools that do demand that from their kids, most of the time, they're the ones that are successful. And it's not being over the top screaming, because I bet sometimes you come to a practice, you come to a game, hey, this guy's over the top. Well, you walked into the middle of the movie. If you would have came in at the beginning of the movie, you'd say, oh, wait, these guys love these, treat them as good as. So I just think that we're judged by, look, he's a wild man, and they're winning games. You know, and that's, no. Very calculating. You know, very on it, and the staff, and the focus, and then it trickles down, and then people see you on Friday night whether you're being, you know, reserved or you're up. You know, they're seeing you and they're saying, well, he's like this, or he's, you know, good or bad or ugly. I think it comes down to you know, kids wanting to play football, wanting to be a part of a program, wanting to be a part of something special. And the leaders have to deliver the message. What is the message? Being a part of something special, giving yourself up.
Right.
And that's what you really want to teach kids. Not score touchdowns, hit home runs, hit three-pointers. Hey, be a great teammate. Be a great citizen.
Right, exactly.
Cooperate with people.
Exactly.
It's not about you. It's about us. And if most of us thought like that, we might have more state titles in this area.
Perhaps.
We might, you know what I mean? Because I look at those teams, Marion Local, Coldwater out west. 4 schools have 21 state championships. 4 schools.
What they do is pretty amazing over there.
And it's amazing. And there's so many reasons, dynamics. I think a lot of it has to do with Western Ohio. A lot of it's farmland. A lot of conservative areas that value-driven,
mindset.
value-driven, and we're going to be a certain way. The rest of society
Great point.
might be watching reality TV shows and putting that on a pedestal. We're going to remain Roman. We're going to be tough, hard work, values. And I admire it to a degree. I admire a conservative thought from a guy that was raised a progressive Democrat, you know, not a liberal, a Democrat, you know what I mean? But I see some of that conservative values that are lost, and it's like, man, it's disappointing to some degree. It is.
You've mentioned 2 words that you've thrown out: program, tradition. You know, you have that going there. And as a result, your expectations are high every year, aren't they?
Yeah, we've been there. This is my 8th year coming up. We've been so lucky. We've been fortunate. We've been in the playoffs 7 years, the last 7 years.
Yes.
And we've won the league, you know, 4 of those years, 4 of the last 5 years. And, you know, you look at that and you look back and it's, you know, and you say, hey, what great team. I think of the teams. I think of the teams and the players. You know what I mean? I know it's like a win after win. No, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of preparation. And you know, the kids in Berlin Center and Ellsworth want the program to continue like that. And they come back. The players come back. Yeah. It's just a great feeling there. I'm very fortunate to be ahead of something that is so special. It's not. I have great coaches that I've named. I have great administrators and leaders, great support. It really comes down to that. It's a movement. And for it to maintain, the people have to be behind it because kids graduate. We only have 104 boys. Classes graduate, and it's time to rebuild. It's time to rebuild. But when the kids are so determined, they're so determined that are coming up. I've had 6 seniors. I've had 8 seniors sometimes. The kids below play so hard. Things have worked out. Now, if we play schools bigger than us, we would have a rough time. But we're playing people our same size that have the same kind of enrollment, same kind of communities, and we've been very lucky. Been very, very lucky.
Well, we can't mention everyone, and I know you have high hopes for this year's group. We don't have the time to run down every guy on the roster, but you obviously, as every team has, you know, you have key contributors, of course, Wyatt Larimer and Jack Capiabanca and DeCiccio, Jeep DeCiccio, who are a couple of the other guys that, you know, are going to be big factors in what you're doing here this season.
Well,
or is that those are the guys, you know, 3 that I mentioned that are going to be?
we have 5 seniors on the team. We have 5 seniors, and we have 51 guys on the roster right now. And we're very excited about those guys, and they have to do a tremendous job of leading. I have an all-state guy coming back, Cody Hillis, right tackle.
Yeah.
All-state, he's as good as anyone. We're thrilled to have him back. Wyatt's a senior also,
Yeah.
quarterback, defensive back.
Yeah.
Carl
Great
Clockingay, he's one of the top athletes in the area,
Yeah.
and he's a great kid. All these guys are great guys, they're great
Yes.
teammates. That's how we're able to maintain success. Carl Clockingay is a defensive back and a running back wide receiver. He's electric. Austin Seifert, barbarian,
Yeah.
strong, great guy. Benches 380 pounds, 380 pounds, and treats all the young kids right. That's special. And our last senior is C.J. Quinn right now, and he's tremendous. A big left tackle, and he's worked so hard. So I think you got to mention your seniors. It's always about the seniors first, and then if they're good and they listen to the coaches and they become good lieutenants to the generals, then the other kids follow suit, and that's when you can have great things. And that's been our formula, and it's worked for us.
Obviously, it's not been a negative for you, as is the case in most small schools. You have, you know, your guys are also playing other sports because you have a smaller, you know, talent pool to draw from all
Right.
the other sports, basketball and baseball, track. Is that a good thing for you, you know, being the football coach, or how's that work?
I'm the head boys and girls track coach at
Well,
the
there
school,
you are,
too.
then.
So, and let me tell you something. We have a tremendous baseball team.
Yes,
Our baseball team has
without
been
a doubt.
a regional champion, or in the
Yeah.
regional champion, been in the state semifinals, state for the last few years. I encourage all the kids. You want to go play baseball, play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You want to run track. And the proof's in the pudding. Ed Anthony's a baseball coach. He's on the football
Yeah.
staff. Also, Patsy Del Torio is our basketball coach.
He's
He's a
doing a
great
great job,
guy. He's
yeah.
a great guy. And we tell the kids, go play basketball. It's only going to help you. So, you know, I want them in the weight room getting stronger, but I also want them to become, get experiences in the world and you know, be good to people. And whatever you're going to do, be good to people.
Yep.
And then when you come back over to football, you know what I mean?
There
It's
you go.
it's that kind of mindset. I really feel that the success the football guys have had and went to the other sports. Beginning of the
Has to,
school year,
sure.
goes to the other sport. Those
Yeah.
are your leaders. And you know what? You can see the proofs in the pudding right there. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with guys playing other sports. I'm thrilled with it.
We only have just a little over a moment left. How the kids changed or the game changed since maybe when you started, or has it a whole lot?
I think society's changing constantly, you know, and I think, football, a lot of injuries, a lot of people being scared. The game is under attack.
Yeah.
The game is under attack more than it's ever been. And I think it's one of the last, like I said, fabrics of America. Real America. Hey, what's your culture? That's a big part of our culture.
It is.
So you know what? We need to protect that part of our culture because it teaches too many valuable lessons you can't find anywhere else. You can't find some of these. You can't get taught some of these things anywhere else about giving yourself up for something like that, or the obedience and loyalty it takes to be a part of something special like that. I hope we hold on to football. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Right.
too.
Well, it's been great, man. It really has.
Well, I want to thank you. It's been great to talk to you as always, and you're doing a fantastic job out there, and we'll see you this coming season.
I really appreciate it. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
You always do.
Thank you very much. Andy Hake, we'll be back to wrap it up here on Loose Change right after this.
To help feed the hungry in our community. To date, food and funds have been distributed to over 20 food banks. These organizations need our support throughout the year. Donations can be made at your local Armstrong office. Also, look for special Breaking Bread events in your area. All efforts benefit area food banks and soup kitchens. For more information, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/ArmstrongOneWire.
Well, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks so much, as always, to Greg Roden and certainly to Andy Hake. I'm Jim Evans, and we will catch you next time right here on Loose Change. We will.